Guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here to bring a quick message for any of you who feel like you resonate. For all my subscribers, I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. You mean the world to me. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If it feels like it resonates and you'd like to see more, please hit subscribe. Join this journey with me. I'd love to have you along the ride. So guys, I want to start out with, I keep getting a song synchronicity, and it's Hakuna Matata from The Lion King with the original. And starting with, the Puma singing it. So they're like, Hakuna Matata, it ain't no passing craze, it's a problem-free philosophy, Hakuna Matata. And you know what? You might want to go listen to it too, sing along, dance along. For some of you, it may really bring back like childhood memories. For some of you, it may be parental memories, like this, some of the stuff that was on when your kids were little. So what I'm hearing about that too is they're like passed on generational things. So for example, like Beetlejuice right now, this would be one of the times where it's Beetlejuice 2 is out. And something from my childhood, it's so nice to be able to share it with my kids. And the same way, things that are on right now that my kids are watching, I'm going to be into, much like, Beetlejuice is one of the things that it's cross-generational. There's things I feel like cross-generational, okay? Hakuna Matata. They're also telling me that Hakuna Matata, a problem-free philosophy, it does not mean that things don't arise, but I think it's going to be really important to choose how we react and how we respond to life that's happening around us and how we create this life we're living. Because if we are focusing on worry, what we're doing is we're creating a situation, a hurt of tension within our body. And that's what we're focusing on. So that's what we're going to see. And some of what I heard is like, we're going to want to rewrite things. So if we're coming up with, we're constantly worrying, we may have to remind ourselves of Hakuna Matata. They're reminding me of, Patience, Guns N' Roses, Patience. That was particularly one of mine, like a mantra song, right? Like, remember, patience. That it can be a saving grace in those moments where, what I heard is like our ego mind or that ego self takes over and we do things that would us as a rational, balanced mind at the particular time, if things weren't heightenedly going on around us, would we have reacted in this way? And this is where, if we do end up reacting, those are the words I want to use. And they're coming to me with, I want to show you, we have the Medicine Woman 3, which would be the Empress, and 2, the Trapper, so 2 of Wands, a choice. And I do feel like there's a strong importance here on choice and medicine. Again, if we're constantly choosing to look at the negative or the worries, if the news gets you down, turn it off. Because what I heard is, while it's really important, you may feel very important to being connected. They're going with boomers, okay, kind of thing too. Like, we're being connected. There's a sense of safety and authority within the news media. And then there's a lot more critical thinking going on. And I think part of it here is where there's so many more news sources as well. We're not force-fed, 1, 2, 3, 4 different news networks all coming up with the same thing. So for some of you, I am hearing, especially with trigger warning, but I found it very difficult to see I live in Canada, so watching the school shooting things and stuff like that, it is absolutely horrifying. And here's where I want to say, especially if you're empathic, if watching the news, especially when we're looking and seeing images of, I'm hearing like Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, we're seeing images of war. We're being shown these things, and this is stuff that what I heard is could really imprint the mind as well. So just a word of advice I heard from Spirit is, this is where they're giving me how we can consciously be aware, okay? So if we are watching the news before bed, and we're watching the news and it has a lot of conflict in the world, and then you may find, and maybe you don't, but maybe you find it's difficult to go to sleep, or you're having sleep disturbances or nightmares and things like this. One thing I heard is, if you want to watch the news, maybe it's better to do it earlier on. Just an example, okay? But this is where we can consciously realize, okay, that's my story anyway. I don't watch it a lot because of that, because I don't want to get triggered or have a violent, gruesome image in my brain or something right before I go to bed. I already can suffer from anxiety. I don't need help, right? I don't need help so, giving myself anxiety. So for some of you, I think if you resonate with what I just said, this is where, how can we do this? How can we be mindful? How can we Hakuna Matata? Well, part of it is we choose the media sources we're watching, what we're listening to, the movies we're watching, the TV shows we're watching. I heard like the people we're around, right? Because all of this stuff, and there's two cards here I can't see, okay? All of this stuff educates and informs us on a state of the world, but I heard like it's also showing and creating a sense of chaos within us. You have victory, so the Six of Wands in the reverse with the Hermit here. And this Hermit, interestingly enough, is the white trapper. So this is like the Native American one told from that perspective. This would be that white trapper. And in this case, as soon as I heard this, what I heard is like ostracized. Because this guy, he brings to a feeling of I'm just going to say, if any of you guys have read Farley Mowat's books, or you may see what I'm seeing in my head, but if you haven't, what I would suggest is to read some of his stuff. Trying to remember any of them, really, any of the ones that he's discussing, Northern Canada. He really does set up a picture of Hudson's Bay, pre-Hudson's Bay information, a lot of history. And there's two things of what I'm seeing here, okay? One thing I see is somebody who has the potential to exploit, to get, okay, hear me out, this is what's coming through, okay? But somebody who has the potential to get more per trapping. So this person, simply because he's white, and let's say it's going to like the tree line just before tundra. I think Alberta, Saskatchewan, but in that area, okay, where I'm seeing like where the Hudson's Bay Company, Ontario too, right? That northern states and further, where trading outposts would have been owned by probably a white person. And the thing is that this guy would go out as well and live in solitude and hunt and trap. But what I heard is, he was getting a whole lot more money. And this person in particular as well may have been on his own, may have been in hunting groups. But what I heard is there may have been rivalry and war, and there's why this victory is there. In other ways, it speaks to just being on your own and being comfortable with that and being an outsider, so to speak. Okay, being within a condition and a climate that wasn't built for you, or you weren't built for this, but this person's learning to survive and thrive on their own because they don't have a tribe and a village behind them and beside them to work with them. So this person as well is really reliant on what I heard is the trading post, whereas where I see this medicine woman or trapper, there's this more sense of, okay, they're showing me in one case there's no gun, okay, but this guy has something large prey wrapped around, whereas, and that's the trapper, whereas the hermit, who's out here, and that more than likely this is also a trapper, but they're done in two different ways, and this is also a hunter. He's going to carry his gun. There's more than one way with this Two of Wands, this trapper, this Two of Wands, to move forward, okay? So what they're saying to me is they're giving me this information. It feels like that there may be a situation where you are feeling like somebody else may always be getting more for the kill, or more for what they're going for, okay? So they're giving me, again, this trapper example, and there's more to it that I want to share because it somehow feels relevant to this, and if it doesn't, well, I apologize, it's not for you, okay? But something with this trapper, that they're talking to me about is also about, again, the trading posts and ways that colonialism, and then we can say the Hudson's Bay Company because at that point they really were the vessel of colonialism, right? And the introduction into a capitalist society, truly, for a lot of I would say places. And there is so much, what I heard is using, neglect, over trapping, over hunting, over fishing, over asking of people. And one thing that, again, if this isn't interesting to you, slip by, but one thing that I've learned by reading Farley Mont books really just discuss a lot about how the Hudson's Bay Company, or colonialism, again, here's a perfect example though, how they came in and changed part of it is like the course of history, because they changed these people's lives, but not in the best ways. They actually encouraged starvation, and a lot of the practices that was being pushed to these guys, it led to their demise in so many ways, and the population of animals around them, their abilities to survive in the climate they had been forever. And how I mean is, in some ways, what would happen would be like, so they're saying like the Hudson's Bay introduced flour, like so wheat and lard and certain things that we consider like bannock, right, or fry bread. There's some things that are considered like inherently Native or First Nations within our country, and some of this is where, but that is also because that was introduced. That was something that the Hudson's Bay Company sold people this vision of, you don't need to go hunt and gather and do these things, but trap the fur for us. And then they can go and they can buy what they need at the stores. And this became something that, you know, it was just the way of life. And then so one of the books I was reading discussed about what happened when one time the Hudson's Bay Company decided that they just upped and left. Nobody knew. So the hunters and the trappers around this, they didn't engage in the caribou hunt. They missed it. There was a lot of things that led to a situation of starvation, but because they had been relying and had been taught now to rely on this station, that we can trade this for this, when the trading post became gone and no longer and obsolete, how are you going to feed your families? Because we've missed the prime time for hunting. And it was basically in like the barrens, like, so where there's no trees. It's not, there was a lot, okay, to this. So I'm gonna move on from there, but I just think that like there is a real importance here, I feel like. And for some of you, this may be you're experiencing colonialism within your own world, or really starting to really see the damage and destruction, I think, that was done because just by, and the erasing of culture, right? That within a few generations of people, their way was gone. And I have one more card here. It's the Two of Travois in reverse. So this Travois, I'm going to read the book for you guys, okay, on that? Okay, wands, I believe, blades. Okay, so Two of Blades. Blades. Okay, two. Travois is a French word for a device made of two poles and a crossbar that form an A. The pointed ends of a travois was tied around an animal and the legs dragged behind. With the travois, a dog could haul 40 or more pounds of gear as far as 5 to 6 miles away. A horse could carry up to 200 pounds, twice as far as the dog could carry the lighter load. Tribes lived a far more sedentary existence prior to the coming to elk dogs or mystery dogs, as the horses were originally called. Obviously, when the horse arrived in the plains, the nomadic life that came to be associated with the Native Americans who inhabited this area became possible. So, says work around camp was the province of women. They had to be ready to move with the seasons, with the herds, or with the medicine vision. A man's wife or principal wife was in charge of all operations and just directed packing and unpacking, skinning and tanning, and cooking and sewing like a platoon sergeant, precisely and effectively. Women made, repaired, and moved teepees, hauled wood and water to camp, tended crops or gardens, gathered wild roots and berries, and did whatever other chores were necessary. Travois shows a woman astride a horse, pulling a travois loaded with roots and other edibles. Oh, first thing I heard when it's in the reverse is we may not be, again, going back to, like, our traditional roots, but it may also be, okay, right here it's like, one is hampered by blind stubbornness and inflexibility and is closed off to the flow of life. Right, we're not trying to, because in this is making life a little bit easier. You're using the horse, and in this case it's like, yeah, but you're making things hard on yourself, is the way I have it. Okay, so I'm going to move on with the Messages of Life Oracle, and let's see what we have here. So in those two situations, though, what they're saying to me is, like, you can make a choice. You can be conscious of what's going on, okay? And if you feel like something that is being pushed on you is to your detriment, you have every right to say, not for me, my friends. So, Spirit, what message do you have for the Message of Life Oracle, please? Forgiveness. I no longer suffer from the struggle with what has been said or done. I bless and am grateful to each soul that I perceive has hurt me, and I release them to their own greater good. My past provides me with the lessons that will help me live the present more fully. I fill myself with a love that is pure and free. We have all that is. I find life and love in all that is. I am aware of the presence in God in all things. Each tiny part of the universe is actually an expression of love. I raise my thoughts beyond the limits of my beliefs and convictions to open myself to magic and simplicity and the beauty of all that is. I marvel at the splendor which in reality is part of me. You have a door to the infinite, I am light, and a gift from life. I want to read to you, they're saying both, so. First up, a gift from life. Says, each day life offers me abundant proof that the universe loves me. Every day God sends angels to help me. Messages which seem coincidental from the words of others or the words that I read are gifts to help make my way in love and maintain my divine spiritual strength. Am I listening? And I am light. And I'm going to leave it once I finish this because I feel like this is also important. I had this on my fridge, this particular card, for like a year one time just to remind myself, because again, this goes down to that Hakuna Matata. We can absorb everyone's worries. We can watch and just absorb all the gray negativity around us, and that in turn ourselves to that. Where we can protect ourselves, shield up, and choose what we're paying attention to, what we're letting into our light, because all of this stuff is meant to dim it, okay? So I am the light within me. The light is around me. The light protects me. Regardless of the negativity I may encounter, I remain joyful and shine forth in all my splendor. With all my light, I illuminate those around me. I am worthy of the divine love within me. Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your days. I feel like this could also be like a really good thing that if you're getting bogged down with something that's really worrying you, put on some music you can sing to, dance to. For some of you, it literally is. Listen to Hakuna Matata. Okay, so they're telling me one last thing. I have the Work Your Light Oracle. I brought the Bone and Earth Oracle too. This is getting kind of long. We'll see what we have, because that was a parting message, but Spirit wasn't done apparently. They said I gabbed too long. Thank you. Take a break. Life's a life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. I heard the Bloodhound Gang, relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. And what I heard was, not go, okay, There's a part about the treadmill. On the treadmill, not going too fast, slim chance you will. That's where it's like, where are you going to go? Right? Or not going nowhere, slim chance you will, because you're on this treadmill. Where are you going to go, though? You're right in motion. So while this could be really good for exercise, we're staying sedentary. And for some of you, that could just be going through the motions. So you have here Mintakan, longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. My friends, if you feel called to that, if you feel like there is a part or a piece of you missing, what I heard is this could be to really lean into your spirituality and take a break, right? Slow things down. And you have Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. Many of you may be going through a huge, I heard upheaval in your energy. I think collectively we're going through massive changes. We've just had a full moon, lunar eclipse, supermoon, craziness, right? But there's been so much stuff. I have birthing a new age just flipped out. Birthing new creations, creating a new world into being. And for some of you, this is like downloads and ideas and information that you have been processing and understanding, and something that you will bring out into the world. So finally, the bone and earth message, because it's saying they're so pretty. So pretty. I have to show you. Oh, they showed me the bottom, which is the conjurer, higher self, fertility, creativity. And that is a 31. Sarah, what message would you like me to share before I end this message? What is the parting message or parting gift for anyone watching? Thank you. Adversary. Hard work, diligence, progress. Keep working hard. This blue as well is what drew me. I want to show you the back of this as well, because you see this blue butterfly. I feel like there's a real change. That what I heard is the change has come. She's got wolves on either side of her protecting and howling. That this is just your diligent hard work. Some things what I heard, portals under that, with originality, idealism, progression. The stand, courage, determination, fearlessness. Meadow, success, blessings, possibility. The last one I want to show you. Recovery, moving on. Finding peace. They want me to show you this one too. This will be the last. Owl. Wisdom, independent thinking, enlightenment. As we've been going through all these changes, your body really may need time to just settle down and to slow down. And I heard for some of us, this may be like a really, really difficult thing. I know for myself, I'll tell you guys, I hit my head on the dresser by accident the other day and didn't think anything of it. And turns out I have a little bit of a concussion. So I've been taking the past 2 days to just relax and to heal and to rest. And it has been difficult to even get my mind around and to being to a point where I'm not feeling guilty for having to do that. So for some of you, I do think it's like Spirit may bring around things that is meant to, I want to say happen, but help to integrate some of these lessons that. So anyway, that's the message I have. I'm okay, and I'm on the mend. I'm healing. But I just wanted to share that, because I also just need to get out of this reading. It's getting a little bit sore in my head, but I was really strongly guided to tell you this. So that's the message I have. I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.